What's up, everybody? We'll be here from the Blacksmith Podcast, and we're going to get right to it because I know your time is precious and you don't have time to waste. Right now, I am looking at top 10 soft skills employers look for, right? This is a video that's going to help you. Forget about Shark Week, forget about 100 Man versus a Gorilla, forget about Angel Reese and whatever her name is in the WNBA. Look, the most of us are just average dudes, right? We need these soft skills. Soft skills matter, right? So let's go over a couple of these. You see, number one is communication, right? And if you're reading the definition here, the ability to effectively convey information both verbally and in writing and to actively listen to others. So there's a couple of key things there, right? It says the ability to effectively convey. So with communication, they're also talking about articulation. They don't need someone in a board meeting who says, "Oh, wait, it's uh I, I don't know how to say it." They want somebody who can convey what they're thinking, right? That's the power of articulation. You're both responsible for what you say and how it's received. Because if you don't want it to be received incorrectly, then you need to say it the correct way. So, yes, that's one thing in there. It says both verbally and in writing. So, if you're not good with grammar, you might want to get that way. Read some books, test yourself on how to spell things. I know there's Grammarly. It says in writing, but I mean, it's 2025. You may have to physically hand jam um, or pencil whip some reports, right? But most of it's going to be on the computer. And if you're on Word, there's always F7 spell check, and it does grammar check now too. So they didn't get outdone by Grammarly, right? But communication. And then the last one is actively listening to others. Listen, some people are not good at communication, right? But if you ask 80% of people, are they good communicators? They will say yes. They will all say yes, right? The problem is going to be most of them are not even active listeners. Most people don't know how to communicate with other people. They just know how to talk and convey what they think, feel, know, believe. They don't know how to actively listen to other people. And that's a problem. When you don't listen, someone will say, "My favorite color is blue." And then when the other person starts talking, they will say he doesn't even know his favorite color. And it's like, he just said his favorite color is blue. No, he didn't. Yeah, everybody else in the room is like, yeah, he did. Now, that's just a silly example, but get what I'm saying? It's because people who just want to talk, it's like they're playing double dutch. They're ready to jump in with the first two or three words that someone says. And that's not actively listening. They don't need people in the workplace like that because you're going to screw things up. All right, let's go to number two here. Teamwork. Collaborating effectively with others, contributing to group goals, and fostering positive working relationships. All right, so teamwork is very, very important. No one's an army of one. You're not self made. You're on a team. Um, I used to have a mentee. He used to go around saying he was self made, and he was half joking and half telling the truth. And it's kind of like, it was kind of a sour thing to hear because he kept saying he was self-made, but that was after I had been mentoring him and helping him out. And I knew what he was saying. He didn't get much help from other people, but you ain't self-made because somebody was helping you along the way. Um, so if you don't know how to, and look, collaborating effectively with others, not just you coming in and bossing everybody around. See, teamwork happens a lot of times when you're not in charge. When you're not in charge, because if you were in charge, that would be leadership. And that's number 6 on the list. So we're talking about teamwork. You're a part of a team. That means being able to take direction from others and maybe even compromise some of your ideas on what you think and how you think the project should roll forward or process should roll forward for something that might be something that you didn't think of, and for something that might help a lot more people than just yourself or the niche or the small group that you might have thought of. Teamwork, right? Being able to accept constructive criticism is in that from people on the team as well. So another that's another soft skill that will help you out. But understand, as we go through all of these hard skills, soft skills, you need to be able to quantify this on a resume. You can't just say, I'm a great communicator. You can't just say, I have great teamwork. You have to be able to quantify this on a resume. All right, problem solving. All right, I think this is a big, big roadblock for a lot of people in today's world. Problem solving, identifying and analyzing issues, developing creative solutions, and making sound decisions. That last one right there just eliminates like 50% of the people out there. Problem solving is a big issue in our world today because we just don't try hard enough. And it kind of sucks to say, but it's like, back in the days of Socrates, you had one scroll that taught about the theory of relativity. I know Einstein came way later, but just get what I'm saying. You had one scroll that taught about daylight savings in the world, right? And it was in a freaking temple or library in Rome or something. So you had to journey 3,000 miles and you couldn't just hop a flight and be there in a couple hours. You had to hop a flight. I mean, you had to open fly on your donkey, on your horse, for 1,000 miles, and then you had to take a boat for 500 miles, and then you had to, you had to journey that far. So when you found that information, it meant so much to you because you knew what you had to do to get there. And now you know what you have to do to get back home. So when you're reading that information, you're taking notes and you're copying that scroll or making some cliff notes off of the scroll, you cherish every moment of it. We have so much information at our fingertips with these flat screen TVs, otherwise known as smartphones, but these supercomputers that are flat screen TV size, right? We have so much information at our fingertips that all we can do, we don't cherish any of it. We just sit there drooling, eye half closed, thumb just going like this, scrolling. You got the zombie mode on, you know. And so with problem solving, a lot of us don't know how to problem solve. We weren't challenged with problem solving growing up. We weren't either parents did it for us or you can google anything. You don't have to figure anything out nowadays, so that one is a big one. But if you can do it, and you can quantify it, employers will definitely reward you for it. See, hard skills, these degrees, certifications, credentials, trades, they help you get the job. These soft skills help you keep the job, be good at the job, and they help you promote. So if you can show all these things and quantify all these things, this is what's going to help you get promoted more so than you had an associate's got the job, now you got a bachelor's, or you came in with a bachelor's, now you have a master's. You may not get promoted based off of that because this right here has more to do with your performance than getting in the door. Let's go at number 4, adaptability. Adjusting to new situations, technologies, and work environments with flexibility and a positive attitude. So I love how they threw that in there because people could shake and move and do what they need to do, but be disgruntled about it. And no one wants to work with a disgruntled person, right? Dude, we all have to change our sleep. Okay, so let's use what I do in the Navy, right? Most of you probably can't relate to this, but I'll tell you. So sometimes, you may have a situation in the world that may call for you to fly aircraft at night, and so now people have to adjust their sleeping schedule. And when you're out to sea for 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, you're like you want it to be like that movie Groundhog's Day with what's his name, Bill Murray. Every day needs to be the same as soon as possible because it just seemingly makes time fly by, right? When you have to change something, you'll see a lot of long faces and stuff. And it's like, dude, we all have to do that. Like, don't become hard to work with just because you're upset. And so I like how they threw that in there with flexibility and a positive attitude. Listen, it says new situations, new technologies, work environments. It could be new processes, new way to fill out new forms, all kinds of stuff. You need to be able to change. The moment we stop changing, we might as well be dead. All right, here's a big one. What do you do at your 62? That's number 5. The point of what do you do with your 62 is time management. How you manage how you spend your time. Everybody gets the same 168 hours in a week. But what do you spend your time on? So organizing tasks, prioritizing effectively, and meeting deadlines efficiently. That's what we're talking about with time management. Now, do you actually manage time? No, you don't pull time out of thin air. No, what you do is you live in that 168 hours and you decide what you're going to spend your efforts doing within that 168 hours. That's what you're doing. You're not actually managing time. You are managing yourself. You're controlling yourself in different acts or processes or whatever you're going to do within that span of time. But we get it. Time management. I mean, without time management, wrap this up. None of the rest of this even matters. Leadership. Taking initiative, motivating others, and guiding teams towards common goals, right? Is that what it says? Objectives. Objectives. All right. So leadership is obviously a big one. If you're looking to promote, my God, um, before you get into a supervisor role, it may be hard to kind of show that leadership, but if you can take the lead on certain things when they ask, oh, who can head this up for me, who can get this done in 3 days, raise your hand. That's the person that's in charge. If they can trust you to lead a team of people and guide them towards that common objective or common goal, listen, and you can do it without wrecking people personally, professionally. You can do it without souring moods. You can do it without messing up the culture. You keep people in high spirits. You're the person they want to promote. Look right into my brown eyes. You're the person they want to promote. Leadership is it's uber important, especially in the military. As a senior chief, it's uber important. You don't even have to ask, am I a leader? I have to be. It just I wouldn't even been promoted if I wasn't. Leadership is uber important at the highest levels. It just is. Um, Emotional intelligence, EQ. Now, this is one I just started hearing maybe within the past 2 or 3 years. Emotional intelligence, and I used to say that's crap, but guess what? It's 2025 and we're using it now. It's called EQ, so let's use it. We've defined what it is: understanding and managing one's own emotions and empathizing with others. Um, the definition is not crap. Um, but this should all be done internally, right? It's especially the first part. Understanding and managing your own emotions. You may be angry inside, but outwardly you should not be showing that, especially in the work environment. No one needs to deal with your moods because you woke up on the wrong side of the bed. You need to internalize that. You need to process that. You need to grit your teeth and get through your day. If you need to get home first and then let out a Tarzan, If you want to, yell and let it out, great. Not at work. Work is not the place for you to be struggling with emotions. Yes, we're all humans, but if you can't act right for a paycheck, I don't know what to tell you. Now, that may sound kind of harsh and kind of stoic and all of that kind of stuff, but being able to empathize with others who are going through a tough time, absolutely important. Um, I just had one of the hardest work weeks I've ever had in my career. Um, there was like two deaths and another situation that ended in death like a week later, uh, week and a half later, and it's like, oh my god, all in 1 week. And so being able to empathize with others, putting yourself in their shoes, absolutely matters. In the civilian world, you're not really your brother's keeper as much as what that's what I experienced prior to joining the military. But in the military, you most certainly are. So it's uber important. All right, so work ethic. Let's deal with number 8. Demonstrating a strong commitment to one's work, being responsible and maintaining a positive attitude. Now, that's two of them on here that dealt with, positive attitudes. Well, even teamwork said positive work and relationships. So they're saying do these things and do it positively. You can't have a grimace on your face all the time. You can't be up in arms all the time. You can't be jumping off a cliff all the time when things change. You have to be able to do that. But work ethic is getting your job done, man. Not having to getting tasking from your, what does this look like? Getting tasking from your boss and getting it done as accurately and as quick as possible, and bringing the updates to them. They shouldn't have to come back to you a week later. Hey, where are those reports? Oh, they were done. When did they get done? Oh, I did them the day you gave them to me. When were you going to tell me? I didn't know it was done yet. I need to tell my boss they were done. They asked me, now I'm asking you. And the person who doesn't understand that person, you're not who we're looking to promote. Get your work done. You're there to work. Yeah, you can play around. You can, you know, pluck footballs over your cubicle at somebody else, but you're there to get the job done. Just remember that. Creativity, generating innovative ideas and approaches to problem solving. So this goes hand in hand with problem solving, is what it's saying, right? Creativity, not everyone's that creative. I'm not going to lie to you, right? But if you're on a team, you can kind of sit in the background and let the ones with the creativity generate the ideas. If you have the work ethic, then you can be a good team player and help bring it to fruition. Not everyone is a creative. That's one thing, that's one fallacy we keep saying on like social media and stuff. Look, not everybody's like an artist or genius and all this kind of stuff. And in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, we knew that. But we tell everybody that they can do anything. Yeah, I get it. But maybe that's not you right now. Let's just say that. Play a role. If that's not you, let the person who is creative come up with the idea and you help them bring it to fruition. That's still teamwork, right? They showed their creativity. You showed your teamwork. Now, you might be a better leader than them. They just might be creative. And you might be able to help and bring it all together and bring it to fruition. And then critical thinking, analyzing information, evaluating arguments, and forming reasoned judgments. Critical thinking. It's actually a critical hard skill. Now, okay, let's deal with it first. You need this. You absolutely need this. This is kind of like problem solving, really, because when you hit a wall, um, it takes critical thinking to get past it. And how you get past it is up to you. Do you go over it? Do you go under it? Do you go around it? Do you go through it? That's critical thinking and problem solving. Those two go hand in hand. Now, why did I Google this and run this video for you? I did this because we are so entertained by stuff that we can't stop and think. on something that could help us build ourselves. I said in a short I made the other day, go by the rule of three, right? Try to improve something three things every single day. Listen, if you can work on these on three of these 10 during the week, work on them till you master them, move to the next three, work on them till you master them, move to the next three. There's a list of other soft skills out there. If you can do that, you can get yourself promoted. And that means turning off YouTube sometimes. That means stop scrolling on TikTok. That means get off of Facebook, get off of social media, turn it off, and make an investment into yourself. Sometimes when we say investment into yourself, we're not talking about money. We're talking about your time and how you utilize your time wisely, like working on this stuff. So if you guys found this video helpful, please hit a like in the algorithm to help me with the algorithm. Share it with somebody that it could help. And I will see you guys in the next one. The Blacksmith out.